Discussion post and response reflection presentation. Business 505 Entrepreneurial Management. Professor Avila, California Baptist University, Fall 2014. Discussion boards are extremely important in the ops program because we don't have that one-on-one interaction in the classroom. Our mindsets are one-dimensional going into that topic. So when we discuss on that specific topic, we see how others view that same topic. Sometimes the others' views are ones that we think are good, ones that we think are not so good, and ones that we think are spectacular, and we wind up trying to implement into our own thinking, ultimately growing as a person and a professional. I think one of the greatest takeaways that I got from this class was that this whole process is not easy. While designing our companies, it shed light on how much work actually goes into creating a new venture. It's not that I thought that the process was a walk in the park, but there are more in-depth details that I was not aware of beforehand. While going through the course, it harped on that there needed to be a plan set in place. In order for a venture to work, not only does a plan need to be set in place, but a solid plan needs to be in place. You need to set obtainable goals and pay attention to the trends around you. And also you need to leave room for improvements in your plan in case things need to be changed. When viewing Michael Ramney's response to my discussion board, he agreed fulsomely with my thoughts in the sense that a plan obviously is essential in a highly competitive society and market. But what I really took from his response was his Yogi Bear reference. It stated, if you don't know where you're going, you'll wind up someplace else. This simple phrase made me take a step back and actually think, do I know where I'm going? Do I know where I want to be 5, 10, 20 years from now? Do I have that actual real plan set in place? I'm still wondering to this day. One of the key aspects that was touched on in the discussion boards throughout the sessions was to pay attention to the trends that were going on around you. If you didn't pay attention to the trends that were going on around you, you were going to be left behind because the other companies were paying attention to these trends and making the necessary improvements or adjustments to follow these trends so that their company could still be successful and the consumer would still desire their products or services that they provided. In turn, it's always important to leave room for improvement. You always want to be conscious of what your competition is doing so you're not left behind. Always staying competitive. You never want to be complacent. If they're continually coming out with new products or new services and you're not staying competitive by coming out with new products or services yourself, you're going to wind up going out of business. When looking at Naria Orozco's response to my discussion board, she said that after this project, she sees how much work goes into putting an idea on paper, but without a strategy and organization, this entire venture would be quite a mess, which is pretty much exactly what I said. Basically, a plan has to be set in place in order for it to work, a solid plan at that. But one thing that she did say was being aware of competition was something that she never put too much thought into, which shows the beauty of discussion boards because she was able to pick up this aspect from the discussion board topics that we have been discussing. I learned not only from this class but from the person I interviewed that one must take risks in order to be successful. However, in the class it seemed that the risks must be a tad more calculated. But when I interviewed Mr. Van, he said we don't have a crystal ball, so the risks are not as calculated as one may believe. And high risk means high reward. The Entrepreneurial Management Discussion Boards has actually been an amazing journey for this session because we were all able to watch each other's ventures develop week in and week out before our own eyes. We were able to give valuable suggestions that the individual could possibly use to make their company better. In turn, I received great feedback from my company that I could possibly tweak and use to my advantage. Overall, this is the only class where the discussion boards have been generalized on the same topic. In this case, it leaves for great growth because it expands upon thought process as they continue to develop their company.